Let's see. It is Thursday, July 9th, and it is time for some Dian Qigong. Um, we'll do the warm-ups, we'll do some details, we'll do the form. Starting with the warm-ups, feet together, hands on the shu kidney points, and we'll do waist rotations. Tongue touching lightly through all the warm-ups, just like it is through the whole form. That's connecting the Ren and the Du meridians, the meridians that go up and down the front and back of the body. And then massaging those back points up and down, back and forth, and then the other direction. Waist rotations, keeping the head still, keeping the feet still, noticing the shift of weight around in the feet, exploring forward, left, back, right. Then bring palm over palm into upper down or middle dantian, massaging, and then switching which hand is on top and massaging the other direction. And then we'll do hip rotations, so either fingers or palms into Huan Tiao, and again exploring the roundness, keeping the feet still, keeping Bai Hui at the top of the head anchored and still. Last night, in trying to get through the um, the movements for this week, 2 sets of 7 steps, I realized that that's a lot to cover, so we'll just be covering the first of the 7 steps today. And then massaging Huan Tiao and massaging lower back. And then rotate hip rotations the other direction. Playing with the size of the circle. Play with the speed of it. Make it faster or slower. And then we'll bring palm over palm into lower dantian and massage. And switch which hand is on top and massage the other direction. And we'll do knee rotations, so feet together. And just resting the hands lightly on the knees, looking forward out onto the floor, and making circles with the knees or ovals, whatever you wind up making, something round-ish. You could try doing squares. That sounds a lot harder, actually. Or maybe diamonds would be possible. I'm not going to try any fancy stunts right now, though. And then massaging down on the inside, up on the outside, kneecaps. And other direction. And for the first set of these, even if it feels just fine when you're coming up off the heels for the second one, it's nice for the first one just to have the grounding of the heels along with the ball of the foot on the floor. It also gives some variety. And then massaging down on the outside, up on the inside, kneecaps. The variety is nice. This time, going a little bit lower if you want, and letting the heels come up if you want. And massaging down the legs. And deeper knee rotations the other direction. Or if you don't feel like going deeper, you can go the other direction and try having it be less deep. But the idea is just to have some variety in those knee rotations. And massage up the inside of the legs. Arm rotations, fingers interlaced. Eyes watching the circle on the outside. Mind completing the circle through the inside, upper, middle, lower dantian. You can play with the speed of this one. But no matter how fast or slow you're doing it, making sure that it's a complete circle each rotation. And pushing up with the hands, up with the eyes, down with the feet, opening through the front of the body. And relaxing. And then up again, opening the front of the body, relaxing. One more time. Relaxing, and then we'll do up to the right. Opening up the left side of the body through the wrist, elbow, armpit, ribs, hip, knee, ankle, foot. Relaxing. Then up again, traveling up ankle, knee, hip, ribs, armpit, elbow, wrist. Eyes are up. Relaxing. One more. Relaxing, and then up to the left, which opens up the right side of the body. Relaxing. Up again. Relaxing and up. Relaxing, and then to get down for the circles in front of us, can fold from the hua, the hip, and come down that way and start doing circles in front of us, or can bring the hands down to the upper dantian through. The second way is a little bit more gentle, and the first way is a little bit more strengthening. And then pushing down from upper dantian towards the floor. Doing that on the right side and pushing down towards the floor on the left side. And then grasping elbows. And just hang out, hang loose, or can grab the ankles. And brushing down And then patting down the legs, cupped hands, so that you're giving chi, being sure to get all the joints. And then we'll do some kicks before doing chin to toe. So a set of kicks starting with the heel. And bring the foot down gently each time. And after 10 of those, do toe kicks down the top of the leg. And then it's time for chin to toe. So right leg out at an angle, landing the torso, grasping elbows, folding from the hip, and circles down the front of the leg, up the toe back towards yourself. Eyes are connected to the floor, chin connected to the toe connected back up to the chin, back straight. And then reach with 10 fingers into the ground, just like the eyes are going into the ground, the fingers go into the ground. And massage. As you massage, it's harder coming down on the outside and harder coming up on the inside. And then patting down the leg. And protecting the back on the way up. And walking it off a bit. Giving back a chance to rest before we go to the left side. Extending the left leg, aligning the torso with that left leg, grasping elbow, pulling from the hua, the hip, and circle down the front of the leg, eyes into the floor, tongue touching lightly. Arms going first down the leg, up the toe back towards yourself in circles. Then reaching with 10 fingers into the floor. Eyes are still on the floor. Toe and chin are pointed at each other. And massage. Harder down, out. Harder in, up. Heading down the leg. And protecting the back on the way up. Locking it off. Let everything relax before the second round. Back to the right. Lining the torso. Got 6 fingers, 3 on each hand, folding. And the fingers are going down to the ground with the eyes going down to the ground. Chin and toe pointing at each other. Letting the back be straight and long. You can play with the depth of it, can play with the exact alignment of the torso to the leg. Just feeling how that affects the extension through the back of the leg. You can play with the weight forward or back. And then 2 fingers. And grasping toe. And massage. And then patting down the leg. And protecting the back on the way up. Walking it off. And back to the left. Left leg out at an angle. Align torso. 6 fingers. 3 on each hand. And folding at the hip. Wah. Eyes and fingers into the ground. Playing with the depth of the fold. Playing with how far the toe is coming back to meet the chin, or trying to make the back long to get the chin lined up with the toe. Lined with the toe. 2 fingers. 1 on each hand. Letting the extension of the arms come out through that extended finger into the ground. And then grasping toe. And massage. And pats. The joints. And protecting the back on the way up. Walking it off. And then time for some more kicks and see if we notice any difference from first round of kicks to the second round of kicks. And kicking with the heel first on the back of the leg. The bottom of the leg as we're raising the leg. And then with the toe on the top of the leg. And keep back together. We'll do pretzel maneuver. First looking over to the right. Palms aligned with the ears. Breath coming naturally. Soft gaze. Release. Tension coming forward, and then wrapping left hand over the right shoulder. Right hand in front of the face and looking to the left. Relaxing. Back to the right. Right hand over the left shoulder. Left hand in front of the face looking to the right. Relaxing. And left hand over right shoulder. Right hand in front of the face looking to the left. Palms aligning, gaze soft. Breath natural. relaxing, and then connecting the palm, the soft palm, patting palm to the corner of the shoulder and under the arm. And then we'll do the arm rotations. So first the left leg is bent, left hand is on that left thigh, torso is aligned with the bent leg, both feet are squarely on the floor, meaning ball and heel, and we bring the arm up the front, let gravity bring it down in the back, momentum bringing it back up in the front. If you find this aggravates anything, can bring it in and just do it with the shoulder, or even just letting the shoulder be pretty stationary and having the action come through the core and middle and lower dantian. And then we'll switch directions. And then pivot on left heel, pivot on right heel, and letting the right leg bend, right hand on the right leg, up in front, down and back, momentum up in front, gravity down and back. And then reversing direction. Finding the effortless effort in this move correlates nicely with the soaring that we're going to be doing later in the form. And then patting, slapping the top of the shoulder across the back, and back to the left leg being bent for another round of slapping, patting, and coming up, feet together, massaging the shu kidney points in circles. Massaging the bow of the ribs. Massaging the lower lymph nodes. And chest. This time letting the circle be off center so that the fingers are raking along the collarbone, getting shu pen point above the collarbone, and shu pen, chi-hu below the collarbone, shu pen above the collarbone. Other side, cradling with the right, combing through the left. Those points, shu pen and chi-hu, are right on top of one another, and they're used when we do the claws above the collarbone in the form, and then anytime we're aligning the palms below the collarbone, grasping chi, or when we're doing the whole elevator balance business. So those are below the collarbone. Let's see. Guess we'll do arms. Arm extended, parallel to the floor. Can come across the body to get the tips of the fingers. Thumb is parallel with the rest of the hand, on the same plane as the rest of the hand. And flipping the arm over and brushing down on the inside. Getting to the ends of the fingertips. Other arm. And down the inside. shoulder past the fingertips. And shaking the fingers out. Doing the tips of the fingers, each fingertip meeting its twin on the other hand, getting past the webbing, getting past the wrist, other side. And then massaging Laogong, center between the pointer and the middle finger, looking for empty space in the palm, massaging. Excuse me. I'm not sick, it's allergies. I slept with my window open last night, which probably didn't help, but it's also summertime, so plants are loving it. They're pollinating. Then I didn't have my air filter on either, so deadly combination resulting in stuffiness. Other hand, massaging out to the ends of the fingers. And we can do Hugu here. The highest point on the bulge between the thumb and the hand. And the point is always between anything that's there, so it's not on any of the tendons or muscle in there, but it's in the space between them. Other side. And then massaging the temples, so between the corners of the eyes, corner of the ear, and the divot of the skull, there's a ridge, and it's behind that ridge. Pressure doesn't matter, but playing around with angles might give you different sensations. And then finding the divot in the orbit of the eye. Corners of the nose. And forming a V with the fingers to get both corners of the mouth. Other side. Ears. Getting the lobes. And getting into the whorls, all the little folds. Not inside of the ear, but just getting all the different folds that are there. And then brushing up. And then drums of heaven, palms gently over the ears and tapping with the fingers. And then wash, face, comb, hair. Again, raking out any stagnant chi, letting the evenly spread fingers rake through upper dantian, over the face, over the top of the head, byway, along the back, and getting rid of any stale, tired chi for collecting good chi to ourselves and forming a sphere of it around upper dantian. And then one leg stand, focusing on the foot that's connected to the ground, letting all of your weight be supported, toes spread, ball of the foot connecting to the floor, heel connecting to the floor, getting as much contact to the floor as possible through the foot, letting it spread out, and then support up through the knee and hip, spine, up to the top of the head. And when that feels stable, you can lift the other leg, playing around with the ankles, heel toe, lift the leg. And as the leg that was open and free and up comes back down to the floor, letting the transfer weight be gradual, and even bring your play with the open foot to be brushing the floor, just to get a feeling for the floor before finding it entirely and sinking your weight down into that foot, and finding the same stack up from the knee, hip, spine, neck, top of the head, and playing with the other foot. Heel toe, ankle. You can play with the rotation or with the foot around the knee, lift the leg. And bringing the foot down gently, finding the floor, transferring the weight, and right leg up again. And the focus is always on the leg that's bearing the weight, back to the right bearing the weight. And throughout the form, there's always a weight bearing leg, and there's always the leg giving you grounding. So focusing on the grounding is more 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 bang for your buck. That's what they say. Bang for buck. Whereas the light open foot, regardless of the stability and the connection you feel to the floor, the open foot's going to be doing a bunch of different stuff throughout the form. So it's not so important to bring the leg all the way up, but really just explore that connection to the ground through the stable, bringing the foot down gently, letting the weight transfer 50-50, 60-40, playing around with it. And we'll do the inside of the leg, fingers out towards the extended leg, eyes following that arm, fingers out into the ground. Opposite hand forms a claw or supports you. And then switching sides, back to center, and massage up the insides of the legs. Feet back together. And then we'll do some walking meditation. Now with the walking meditation, you can bring the same idea of having a stack, the middle dantian resting on lower dantian, and the upper dantian resting on middle dantian, so that all three dantians are moving forward at the same time with each step, not leaning forward or back, but letting the stack stay up and down into the ground. And that's the warm-ups. That's all the warm-ups I had. Do a bow to each other for making space, to practice with each other, making a flock. A bow to our teachers, and a bow to the world and making space, all the space. All right, movement details. Yeah, last night going into the 7 steps, realized there's just so much detail in these steps that it's ambitious to try and cover more than one set of 7 steps, especially when we're also learning the turnaround. So just to get to that place where we can start learning the 7 steps, I'll review last week, which is 48 to 52, 48 standing meditation, 49 penetrating the dantians, 50 pushing the palms out, and turning the claws, 51 turning the claws, and 52 restoring on the back. So starting with the standing meditation, the feet are shoulder wide parallel. Checking what parallel is, letting the knees be bent, soft. Back is straight, and arms are out and round from getting that big sphere. Palms pointed to upper dantian, and then after holding that for as long as you like, bringing the palms up to upper dantian for 49. Penetrate dantians, penetrating upper, middle, lower, all the way down, fingers pointing down into the ground. Coming around the back, turning over Gugu Huantiao, and then pushing palms and turning the claws. And those little movements that don't seem like lots going on. It's a reminder that there's lots of detail in every little thing. And restoring on the back, opening the claws once they're on the shu kidney points, restoring, massaging, and then restoring, resting, giving as much emphasis to the shaking as you do to the resting, shaking again, resting. And I'll go through the 7 steps twice. I'll do it once facing this direction and once facing the direction we would do in the form. So to begin with, for 53, soar to each side. In Yang-Mi Jun's book, she calls it soaring to the side. In Huilu's book, the Wenwu book, it's fly up, but there's so many fly ups that I like using soaring. And soaring also speaks to the gentleness of this move. We let the hands come off of the shu kidney points. The hands are pointing down into the floor, and then as the hands come up to shoulder high, letting that happen with as little effort as possible. So it can even play with letting the hands come back down to the sides with as little effort as possible. And as you're doing that, just seeing how little effort and musculature can go into holding the hands up so that they're just falling as slowly as possible, letting everything be relaxed through the fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulders, only putting in enough energy so that the arms don't flop down, but have a gradual arc down, and then similarly letting the arc up happen in such a way that you're not pushing up with the backs of the hands, but just letting the palms feel full, feeling the support of the air on the way up, so that when you get to the top of that, where the hands are about parallel with the shoulders, they don't have to go above the shoulders. Even below the shoulders a little bit is fine, but they feel like it's just resting on air there. There's a openness to the armpit, the heart points, and you don't really go down in the form, but playing with letting the arms even be to the sides and holding that, and then, oh, the arms are heavy. I don't really want to hold them anymore, but rather than just giving up and letting them come down to the sides, letting the relief come slowly, relaxing the arms, and the relief is warm growing out from the armpits to the edges of the fingers, letting the arms gradually, effortlessly come back down, and then can play with the same thing just on the sides, letting there be an openness, buoyancy to the arms on the way up, and bring that quality of effortless effort to not only the 7 steps, but throughout the form when we're moving different things. That same quality is fun to play with, but especially on the 7 steps as we're coming down, and for the first of the 7 steps we're coming up, and rather than it being quickly up and stopping it shoulder high, it's letting it come up and gently resting at shoulder high, almost like it's resting on top of clouds or something. And then, once you're there, that was a lot of detail. Then, to sort of each side, the right toe pivots, and then the right leg bears the weight, and the right hand comes down to lower dantian. And with the right leg bearing the weight, the back is soft, the stack is happening, lower, middle, upper dantian. And then the left leg comes out, touches the floor, and the left hand comes to upper dantian. Eyes are on that hand at upper dantian. And how far the leg comes out is up to you. It can be a small step, can be a large extended step. Generally, a smaller step is easier to maintain the stack, and if you're doing this inside, it means you aren't going to run into a wall as quickly. And then the torso aligns to the extended foot, and it's some combination of letting the alignment happen through the waist and hips. So as you're finding that, it can help to sink down and let the hips do the alignment of the torso to that extended leg. And that, if you're finding it difficult to align the torso to the leg, maybe don't have the leg out as in as big of an angle. I would say that even 45 degrees is too much for this. Like 35 degrees is better. 25, 30 degrees, all fine, 10 degrees, fine. And again, can let the waist do some work there too if the hips are complaining about aligning torso. And then letting the left hand float down in an arc, eyes following it, and it comes in so that the palms are above each other. Just like when we're doing the massages, the palms, zagongs, are meeting each other and focused in on lower dantian before we shift the weight to the left foot. And then the right foot is light and free. And the right hand comes up the midline of the body. And then we find that arc of roundness on the right side. And how far out the hand is something to play with. If you are doing it in a way that is not round enough, it too close will not feel round. So if you just bring it down the front of the body, that doesn't feel round at all. And then, oh, I'm on the inside of the right hand instead of the outside. So finding some roundness, stepping, and if it's not round enough, you're going to wind up throwing chi out into the world instead of gathering it to yourself. So playing Goldilocks with that between the closeness and distance. And it'll feel different and be different every day exactly where that's at. But just exploring. And after the hand comes in and the palms are aligned to each other, the gaze and the torso is forward and shifting the weight up the midline of the body. And then torso lines to the extended foot, hand comes down, lining the palms, torso forward, and whole stack moving simultaneously. Lower, middle, upper together with each step. Excuse me. Yikes. Allergies. See what other details on this soaring. So the soaring gives a hint at how gentle this is. We're gliding around where the goose is gliding just effortlessly, taking advantage of the updrafts, just chilling, exploring our space in the world. This is an exploration of how big our bubble is. And that's where the closeness and the distance comes into play, is in exploring that space. And when the palms are aligning on lower dantian, really letting that have gravity to it. And as you drag the hand up, bringing that gravity through middle and upper dantian with each one of the 7 steps. Yeah, and the effortlessness of that, if you compare it to other times where we're flying, then there's like a lot of like fluttering going on and action in that regard. And this one, by contrast, is a lot more still and subdued and yin. Even though there's still a lot going on to it, it's a very gentle introduction to the 7 steps. And if all this is too much to remember, it's basically just left, right, left 7 times. And if you don't get your torso perfectly aligned to the outside foot, that's fine. You can even do it so that your torso is forward and your eye is just watching that hand back to horizon, catches the other hand. So there's plenty of room for variations in playing and modifying it to fit your body along the way. But that's the basics of the 7 steps. Well, the first of the 7 steps, and it's more than the basics. It's quite a lot of detail, especially if you haven't done it before. And then for the last of the 7 steps, on the seventh step, or on the left hand is floating down, and then rather than bringing it in over the right hand comes out to meet the left hand, and fluttering starts again. Fluttering, and the left toe comes up so that you can pivot on the left heel. And as you're fluttering, the fluttering is happening towards the lower dantian, so it's still focused on lower dantian, and then pivot on the right heel. So we've done a 180. That's the turnaround. That's 54, and that one will get reused a lot as we do the 7 steps. So it's nice that we'll get to reuse that and not have to relearn it each week. But then we flutter up. So again, that concept of letting the arms just kind of like find their own buoyancy to get up with the fluttering, and then fluttering past the shoulders up. Eyes are watching up. Not so much leaning back, but in front of yourself so you can still see the hands. And then fluttering to the sides. Maybe you can see them in the peripheral, but eyes are back on the horizon. And then fluttering back to the center again. And that is the fluttering up, flying up. And I'll close there. That's already a lot of detail. I think I talked forever. At least one forever I talked. So can let that be enough detail for today on the movements. As always, let me know if you have questions, thoughts, ideas, excitements, concerns, etc. Via any of the channels that have been established for communication. And that can do a bow to each other, our teachers and the world, and then find our place in the world, or space in the world to go through the form together. And hopefully everybody has a little bit of extra time this morning, since it looks like we're going to go past 45. But as always, a reminder, if you need to the form, wherever you pause in the form or stop in the form, always do the close before you step out of the flock that's doing the form. That way you bring your energy back to yourself and don't have it hanging out in the world as you're walking around. But yeah, shake everything out. Anything that's still stiff or didn't get enough attention in the warm-ups can give it a little extra attention right now. Can pat the shoulders. I don't think I did the shoulders, so we can sneak the shoulders in. Woo! Don't want to forget those shoulders. And then feet are parallel. Eyes are soft. Tongue is touching lightly behind the teeth, connecting the Ren and Du meridians. Little space under the armpits. Fingers evenly spread with the thumbs forward. And begin. Down the legs, through the ground, sky, heels up, to lower dantian, heels down. Hands facing each other, fingers leading the way. Forming claws and drag, expel. Chest again, hands, fingers, turning over. Claw to the shoe point, shoe kidney points, and So, chest, neck, face, way, opening the elbows, interlacing the fingers, looking up, and folding down. Hands up to knee high to push down on the left, up to knee high to push down on the right, staying down, back to center, hands spread, rock forward, rock back. Above clavicle, macrocosmic orbit. Flapping the wings. And right hand above the clavicle for the left hand macrocosmic orbit. Flapping the wings. And left hand to the chest, middle down 10, rising up. Right hand comes down and washing machine. With hands like clouds. Fourth cloud hand on the left, we actually turn it into a spiral. Restore. Raise single wing. Wrapping ears and head. Palm facing below the clavicle. Shihu. And then Shukan above the clavicle to claw. Dragging the moon from the water, outer moon, turning around, taking a step up the midline of the body, and then looking at the moon, quick up to the left outer moon, or inner moon, and pushing down. Three times on the left, coming to the right. Three times on the right. At the bottom of the third, we flutter. And looking out over the water. And then flying over the water. And then drinking the water. On the third sip of water, we flutter up, feet parallel to each other, and the hands land right hand down, left hand up to digest the water. Restored chi. And then we'll grasp chi. And then grasp chi palms up. Eight, 9, 10. Opening the hands, spiraling up, folding torso to the left, and massage the ball back over to the right. Turning the ball over, massaging to the left. And massaging back to the front. Another big ball of chi folding, and then bending the knees to assume the standing position for standing meditation. After holding that, rising up, the knees up, hands to upper dantian, middle, pausing at lower dantian, and then pushing palms, claws to the back, shoot kidney points and shake, and restore. Stillness, and shake, and be still. Absorb, restore, shake, stillness, into the 7 steps. Number 6. Number 7. Fluttering my lower dantian up, sides, back to the center, and then skimming over the water. And fluttering to lower dantian, pivot, pivot, flutter up, sides, forward, and searching for food. Number 7. Palms come to knees, to lower dantian, no fluttering as we pivot, pivot, and build a nest. On the 7th step, letting the hands come all the way down, fingers pointing to the floor, going around to the sides, pivoting on the left heel to bring ourselves back to the original orientation, right foot comes up, and we flutter the fingers to upper dantian, fluttering hands and arms, past the face and neck, and then the fluttering subsides, landing the hands on lower dantian for sleep. Down on the heels, rising up. Final close. And some walking meditation, bringing our practice into the world so we can carry it through the day. And that's it. That's the whole form. Thanks for sticking around and practicing. And thanks to our teachers who brought us this wonderful form and can do a bow to the world as we re-enter it, showing it our regards. Saturday we'll be in the park again, assuming this fine weather maintains its course and the plants continue to pollinate. I will see you outside, maybe. Some of you, not everybody. Yep, reach out with questions. Next week we'll be doing Skim Over Water, which is the second of the 7 steps. I really love the 7 steps. They feel like a treat at the end of the form. Get to relish everything that we've cultivated up until that point. Yep, that's all I got. Thanks for practicing, and see you next week. Bye.